Hey Cruise team, Coach back at you here. Less than 24 hours from the last video. I know I had a little week break there, and now I'm gonna get back at it. So the video, if you missed it yesterday, was basically in response to the team, the JJ team, JJ Cruise, on their channel. They had said things in regards to what concerned them about some of the things Carnival was doing or not doing that made them a little bit uneasy. And just for the time being, because I had one person in the comment think that I implied that it was for good, which I know they made very clear in the video that it wasn't for good. It was just for the foreseeable future until maybe they changed some of their protocols or they felt better about how Carnival was running things. So that got me on the thought of today's topic, which is basically what would it take for me to stop cruising Carnival or cruising in general. And so I made up a little bit of a list, and I'll kind of go and compare the things that I observed while cruising, what I enjoyed about cruising without mask and things like that, and then how that would hinder or make it to the point where I didn't even think I would want to go on a cruise. So again, the first was in mask. In the beginning of July, one of the great things that everybody was excited about when Carnival announced they're going to be 95% vaccinated is everybody was excited about no mask. You know, we're back to normal, right? Because you're on a cruise without a mask, you have freedom to roam the ship, you're not putting a mask on anywhere. The only thing that reminded you of a pandemic is the crew had to wear masks. Aside from that, it was cruising as usual, and it was great. It was phenomenal. It seemingly was just back to normal, and maybe that's what JJ Cruise was getting at. For example, the casinos were crowded. You could hardly even get in on the craps table in the casino. People were shoulder to shoulder, and again, no mask, breathing on each other, everything else like that. Now see, that might concern some people, just being that close together, and but I took comfort in the fact that everybody was vaccinated. Virtually 100% of the adults were vaccinated, maybe 100%, and I was vaccinated. So even if I did get COVID, the chances of anything, being very wrong or needing to go to the hospital or anything like that would be extremely low, even if I caught COVID. So I cruised with confidence. I didn't worry about that, and I still don't worry about that. Just being vaccinated gives me a tremendous amount of confidence. Now, fast forward to August, and we finished the cruise July 24th, got off July 31st. And that same week, 3 days before we were supposed to go on the horizon on August 7th, John Heald comes out with the video, important news. And he was on the Mardi Gras at the time, I remember. And he made the announcement that starting August 7th, everybody was going to be required to wear a mask indoors when not eating or drinking. And I just immediately, took things more serious than I should have, and not really thought out the whole process or whatever. And like I said, I called up my PVP and said, no, I'm canceling, because my idea of a vacation is not wearing a mask. And don't get me wrong, I had to wear a mask for work. I've always considered it and wear a mask around others. I know some people are just so against masks, they won't wear it. To me, it's not that big of a deal to wear it. I just don't like it. I mean, who does? I mean, whether you support masks or not, I don't think there's, there's got to be less than 1% of the population that says, oh yeah, I kind of like wearing them. I mean, I don't know who likes to wear a mask. It's burdensome, and like I said, it's not that big a deal though. So I know I was on the elevator once, and a couple came in, and they saw me wearing the mask, and that's because I followed the rules. You were supposed to have the mask on in the elevator. I was the only one in the elevator, but you know how elevators work. you go up a floor and somebody's going to get on. So I just had it on, expecting somebody to come on, and they did. And you could tell the wife of the couple was, oh, you know, I got to find my mask or whatever. And I told them, I said, look, I'm not worried about it. You know, I do that out of consideration of others, because I know other people worry about it. And, you know, but I'm vaccinated. I know you're vaccinated. You know, I'm not concerned. And like I said, I really, and maybe I shouldn't be that way. Maybe I should be more, I don't know, careful. And it's just, like I said, I'm vaccinated, feel good about it, feel confident. If others are vaccinated, all good. Another thing, when we were on the Horizon, we did another pub crawl, and we were started out inside. You know, 4 of the 7 bars that we visited, actually 5 of the 8, because we ended up at Alchemy, that was kind of like the after party, are inside. We only had the Tides bar at the back of the ship, the Red Frog on the Lido, and the Blue Iguana on the Lido. Those are the only 3 that were outside bars. Everything else was inside. But obviously it was a pub crawl, we were drinking. So guess what? We weren't wearing masks. And it was a large group of people traveling together, you know, partying, having a good time, everything else like that, no mask. That could raise some red flags in the future. You know, they may say in the future, hey, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. We're not going to allow groups larger than 6 or whatever to travel together. I don't know. You never know what rules they're going to make up or whatever, but that's something that on the past 2-3 cruises I've done, and we've just had a blast. Those that, you know, I met on Horizon, we divided up into 3 teams on one of the pub crawls, and we were Team Whiskey, Team Tequila, and Team Rum. And Team Tequila, I was Team Whiskey. Team Tequila would not stop letting anybody and everybody on the cruise ship that could have a microphone that could announce Team Tequila to say something. So it was a lot of fun, back and forth, good banter. But you know, it was Team Tequila all the way. But and I gotta admit, you know, we did like a little regroup at the end where we did a little mini pub crawl on the last sea day, and I will say the majority of the people that came back were Team Tequila. So Team Tequila, if you're out there, I still give you the props, all right? But Whiskey, we were right on your heels. So anyway, yeah, if they stop things like that, it's going to make it tough. And going along on the same line, if they limit the entertainment. I know on the Horizon, big fan of 3 of their productions. I mentioned it yesterday: Celestial Strings, Soulbound, and Vintage Pop. Really like those 3 productions. Now, if they said, hey, you know, because we don't want a lot of people coming to the auditorium or whatever, we're gonna not show these type of productions. We're just gonna have more live music and more spaced out, so it doesn't get too crowded anywhere. And I understand that would be in the mind of safety and health and everything else like that. But it will get to a point where you start questioning, like, okay, this is being taken away, this is being taken away, this is being taken away. You know, at what point do I draw the line and say, I'm not sure this is going to be as fun as I hoped it would be, and maybe I should just rebook for another date. And again, this is all just, you know, predicting the worst or preparing for the worst, what if, and hopefully it doesn't come to this. And there's nothing that they've said so far that would make me cancel my next cruise, for example, which is our New Year's cruise that starts on December 26th. We love doing that. Still very much looking forward to it. But again, you know, at some point you draw the line. Now, here's another one that if they said this, might be like, I don't know, maybe we should just cancel. Go on excursions, right? And what if you're on a catamaran, you're outside, the wind's blowing in your face, it's wonderful, blue water, everything going by you or whatever, and they say, yeah, you know, enjoy that, but enjoy it with a mask on your face. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm outside, you know, beautiful, you see air blowing on me, everything else like that, and I'm gonna wear a mask because it's a little crowded on the catamaran. you know, that, I mean, I probably wouldn't take the Excursion for sure, but you know, and again, it gets to a point, okay, maybe this isn't for me. So, you know, I think going back to JJ Cruise and what they were talking about and why they, you know, are shying away from Carnival for just the time being, just for the foreseeable future. They did, you know, make reference to that 70% booking and 50% booking. Well, here's what 50% booking allows you to do. 50% booking allows you to have crew members stationed in the Lido area, Lido buffet area, serving individuals, you know, one by one, their food. I know people, you know, like the freedom of just going up there. I didn't do the Lido buffet but once or twice, but I did enjoy the freedom of just walking up there and grabbing something that I wanted and going back. I enjoyed that freedom. But if you have 70% capacity, you have just too many people, and it's going to be just a little too crowded, that if you try to have individual workers serving each person, they're not going to be able to keep up, and it's just going to be massive lines. And either Carnival will have to make the decision like, okay, we want to make this even safer than we're making it already right now, and we're going to limit capacity to 50%, like some of the other cruise lines are doing, or, you know, more crew. I don't know. I don't know how they go about handling that. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine with the way it is now, but, you know, if this gets worse, and we've seen it get worse. Last year, obviously, we all lived through it when we were dying for cruising to come back. If, you know, if something snowballs and there's a flare up or whatever else like that, what steps will they take? And, you know, when would any of you draw the line? So I guess that's the question I'm kind of throwing out there. I you know, I guess you can kind of gauge my answer. You know, basically for me, if you have me wearing a mask indoors all the time, then, you know, I can get around that most of the time, because you're going to do a lot of eating, a lot of drinking. I'll be at the bar quite a bit, or I'll be in that back aft pool just, you know, taking a dip with a drink in my hand, and I'm just fine with that. I can get around that, no problem. Outdoors though, if, you know, you're telling me that, you know, if I'm not in the pool, or if I'm within 6 feet of somebody, I have to have a mask on, you know, when I'm outdoors, then I might be like, okay, you know, that's going too far for me, and I'm just gonna wait until the restrictions ease and COVID's under control or whatever else, and that's it. Already in ports, every port we visited, we had to have masks on. Some of them really were, you know, more about enforcing it. I know Belize, there was security walking around and they were really keeping an eye on it. But most of the other ports, not so much. I don't know whether it's because they were taking it easy on the tourists and they're so, you know, desperate for tourism dollars to come back that they're kind of turning a blind eye or what. But it's an interesting topic. So throw in your comments. What would it take? What would it take for you? And some of you may already be sitting on the sidelines waiting, you know, for this to get better. You know, like I said, I totally appreciate and understand that. You know, everybody has their concerns and everybody has to draw their line. Some is a little bit further back and some is a little further forward. It's all where, you know, it is for you. So, yeah, let me know in the comments where that line is for you. Those of you that are booked and cruises that are upcoming in the next few months, you know, what would it take for you to say, okay, I'm out, you know, I'm rebooking, I'll rebook for a future date or whatever. What would it take? So throw that in the comments. And I got to remember to do this 2 days in a row. I remember to do it. Usually I forget to ask you, but subscribers have been going up, you know, the last few days, trickling up. Appreciate that. And so if you're not somebody who's already subscribed, if you could hit that subscribe button, you would be my MVP for the day. I'd appreciate it very much. And the like button's great too. Right now I'm more focused on getting that subscriber count. We're pushing for 1,000, and you know, like I said, we've only been around for 6 weeks, so we like the rate that it's going at, but it can go even faster, right? So great speaking with you and getting back in touch with everybody today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you probably tomorrow. All right, have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow.